Good evening, everybody. We are live. It feels like an eternity since I've been here, but it's only been a week, I think. So we are live across all our social channels for tonight's session, Selling on LinkedIn. I want to say tonight we're going to cover something that has perplexed people about LinkedIn because there's been some changes. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to explain it so that if you've had this challenge, the connection limit, I'm going to show you how you get around that, how you work within the new rules of LinkedIn. So we're 2 minutes early yet, so we're expecting some people to join us, but they're not here yet. So whilst you're waiting, here's what you need to do. Go grab some notes, notepad and pen. 2, get a drink so that we can sit down. This is going to be an hour session, 45 minutes of training, 15 minutes of Q&A. I'm going to mention some free resources that you can get during tonight's session. But before I start, we're starting early, please let me know that you are here. You can see us in the chat. Any questions, put them in the chat. But give me I was going to say a wave, but I can't see you. But I can see the chat. So I can see Richard saying, hi, Becky. I'm Dean. I can go by Becky if you like, but hi, Richard, Becky. Anybody else, put your names in the chat, say hello, let me know where you're from. We'll start in maybe 1 minute's time and we'll get into how you can sell on LinkedIn, how you can do it in a really relational way. And here's people joining now. Hi, John. Hi, Paul. Hi, Simon. Hi, Mitch. Hi, Kim. Hi, Robert. I'm just curious, have we got people from every continent tonight? Normally we have somebody from every continent. Gavin Worrell. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Andy, Zoe. Wow, you're all saying hello quick. Dallas. Anybody from Australia? Anybody from Australia? You'd probably be in bed now, but maybe you can't sleep and you've come on here for Dean to put you to sleep. Hi, David. Hi, Glenda. South Africa. Who's from Miami? My favourite place. Simon from Leeds. Yeah, we've got Los Angeles. Chris in Wales. I have a terrible Welsh impression, Chris, but I'm not going to do it. I might offend you. And Halifax, Alan. Okay, cool. So we're going to start. Linda from Wigan. Yeah, I'm a northerner, secretly a northerner. Dan Cooper from Dan Cooper's obviously got the better end of the deal here in San Mateo, California, Milan, Cardiff. Awesome. So everybody's coming in. So we're going to start now. Please do Germany. Wonderful. Lots of people from all different places. So awesome. You're going to need notepad and pen at various different stages. In an hour session, there's only so much I can deliver. So I'm going to reference worksheets that you can email us to get. So if you want to, I'll put our email on screen, and if you want these worksheets, they're all free. There's no catches here. It's all free. I'll explain why it's all free in a minute. But if you want any of the resources, make a note of our email address. I'll flash it up at various points during tonight's session and say, can I have this? Can I have this? And we will send it to you free of charge. No catch, no kind of landing page where you have to download it or anything. None of that. So, Carol from Nigeria, Swapnil from India. So there's lots of people from all over everywhere. And the guys in India guys and gals who are watching in India, it's 9 hours ahead, I think it is, or 5 hours ahead. So it's really bedtime for them. But glad you're all here. And we're going to kickstart. If there's any questions at any point, there's a lot of people watching tonight across all the social channels. There's 600-700 watching live on LinkedIn. There's people watching on YouTube, Facebook, all these different places. So welcome. But if you have a question, put it in the chat, and at various points I'll stop, look at the chat and answer some questions. You will need notepad and pens, and we will go through some demos towards the end. If people get stuck and go, how does this work in LinkedIn? I will show you in the demos in the Q&A. All good. So I'll also check in with you to make sure you've all not fallen asleep in the process. It's 45 minutes with a 15-minute Q&A, so hopefully I don't bore you to death and you go to sleep. So just a quick intro and then we'll dig into what we're going to cover tonight. So if you're wondering who we are, I'll introduce myself in a minute. Maverick is a business or one of the biggest social selling training and consulting companies probably in the world now. We've trained over 150,000 different people on how to social sell organically, relationally through any social media, but LinkedIn is a big part of that. And our mission as a business is, yes, we want to make money, but of course we want to do something meaningful for the world. And so we want to help businesses grow their margin, revenue and profit. And we want to do it through sales and social selling. And so we want to help 1 million businesses. And we're about 150,000 in, something like that. So every week we put these sessions on. They are free. Yes, some people will come back to us and say, Dean, that training was good. We need more help. And that's brilliant. But the aim is that we help you think a bit differently and implement something a little bit in a different way that gives you a better result. That's the mission of tonight. So tonight I want you to all leave going, wow, you've opened my eyes to something and I can move forward a bit more confidently and I can see how this could work for me. That's my aim. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Dean Seddon. You can come find me on LinkedIn. Find and follow me on LinkedIn if you like. If you don't like, block me. But if you've got any questions after tonight and you think, I wish I'd asked that question, feel free to come and DM me. It might be a bit slow because I get a lot of DMs, but me and the team get through all of our DMs and we reply to every single person. So sometimes that might mean a couple of days wait, but we'll reply to everybody. So if you get stuck or need some help, just DM me or drop us a message on email. Okay, what we're going to go through, this is what we're going to go through tonight. So first one, a bit of an intro about selling through LinkedIn and social selling on LinkedIn. We're then going to go through the connection limit, the new thing that LinkedIn brought out, the connection limit. And I'll explain about that and how it doesn't have to affect your sales. It doesn't have to affect you selling. I want to talk about your goal and your results from LinkedIn. And I'm going to help you think differently about how to get results from LinkedIn. I'm going to explain to you how quickly you can achieve a sale from LinkedIn. Maybe some of you have struggled to make it work. Maybe some of you don't know how to make it work. I'm going to show you the strategy. And then at the end, I'm going to show you our lead generation format of how to create a lead generation post. And I'll share with you a PDF about how to build that lead generation post. Awesome. So let's crack on. Everybody's ready and let's get going. So, have to put this in. So we're just as an aside, I just want to put this out there. We are not a LinkedIn marketing agency. So I'm not looking to sell you on any kind of marketing services. We're a training company. We consult with businesses. We're a training company, but we're not a marketing agency that's going to try and sell you something in that way. So we really believe in what we do. It works, and that's what we do. So the majority of LinkedIn people are doing it wrong. Majority of people at LinkedIn are doing it wrong. And I'm going to switch to picture-in-picture just so that you can see these. Hopefully I've covered all their names up. But this is what people have been doing. Yeah, they've been firing out connection messages left, right and centre, and it's basically putting people off. You've all had it, surely. I mean, is there anybody who's had these messages? And if you have had them, quick survey. Anybody watching this, let me know. Have you ever bought, or how often do you buy from people who cold pitch you? Or do you just ignore them? So tell me, do you ignore them or do you buy? Message in the chat. Now the salespeople in tonight's session will say, oh, I read them because the salespeople like to be kind to other people because that's what they might be doing. But most people ignore them. And it's a broken process. So I stole this graphic that I'm showing you on screen. I stole this graphic on screen from a LinkedIn lead generation company. And I'm not picking them in any way. I just thought it perfectly illustrates what most people are doing on LinkedIn. This is what most people are doing on LinkedIn. They're going, I've got to get through so many messages to get a sale. I've got to do so many things to get a sale. And what you look at, if you look at those numbers there, you put 1,000 prospects in and out the bottom you get 4 sales. This is advertised as their results. Yeah? Advertised as their results. So if you look, somebody does the maths here, you can look and go, there's a 1% 1% success rate. Simone's just asked the question, will this be recorded? Yes, if you drop us an email, we'll send you the recording. So it stays up for a little while tonight, and then it's taken down and we can send you the recording. So if you want the recording, just email us. I'll put the email on screen and you can get a copy. So it's all there. And there's the thing there, down there. So what most people are doing has a 0.1% success rate. Or at best, if you're really good at it, maybe 1% success rate. 1%. Literally 1%. So what that means is that 99% of all of your efforts on LinkedIn are a waste of time. 99%. So what I want to share with you is my method, and that's what we're going to go through today, which avoids this, why would you deploy a strategy that doesn't work 99% of the time? And I've said this to prospects on calls, and I've said to them, you're doing all of these messages, you're churning all of these things. Why would you do it in a way where it does not deliver? Effectively, your strategy is a 99% failure rate. Now, if we put that into any other context, and we said, right, Mr. Salesperson or Miss Salesperson, what's your success rate at selling? And they said, well, 99% of the time I fail, but that 1% I win. Now, most people justify this by saying, well, if that 1%'s worth £500,000, it's worth every penny. But what if you didn't have to go through 1,000 people to get one £500,000 sale? What if you didn't have to do any of that? And so my strategy, which I implement myself, I have for every message I send to a prospect, every single message I send, 20% of them become customers. Not 20% open, 20% click, 20% become customers. And I'll show you how this works. So that's what we're going to do tonight. I'll give you the overview, and maybe if I'm feeling really generous, I will stress out our team and give you something free at the end as well. So I'm warning you, team, if you know that I'm going to give you something crazy free out, be ready with your stuff. So I will get to the training. I just want you to think differently. If you want better results from LinkedIn, you have to think about this in a different way. So if it feels like I'm laboring the point, it's because I am. So I want you to write down now, how much is a sale worth to you? Given that what I've shown you about this failure rate of what people are doing on LinkedIn, 99% isn't working, I want you to ask yourself, how much is a sale worth to you? You don't need to tell me, you don't need to put it in the chat, just write it down for yourself, between you and yourself. Yeah, just between you and yourself. Write it down. Now, number one thing, selling a 500 quid product on LinkedIn, it's the same amount of work and effort to actually sell a £5,000 thing, whatever that is. Yeah. So if you're selling something for £500, I'd consider whether there's a £5,000 product, because the level of effort is exactly the same. Does that make sense? So selling a 5K thing. So how big is what you're trying to sell? Now, if you've written down an answer where it depends on your sale, when you wrote the sale value and you go, oh, it depends, I'm not sure what my sale value is, it means you're not focused. Yeah. I can sell, for an example, on LinkedIn. So think about it and go, what's the target sale that I'm looking to achieve? So for an example, if I came on and said, I'm looking to close £1 million sale every week from scratch, that would be tough. But just the same, going, I want to close 100 £500 sales a week would be tough. So find the sweet spot of your product and offering that you can deliver and fix a target sale. Yeah, a target sale. So do I want to talk to cybersecurity firms that sell this software and they sell it to this kind of size companies, and our offering is around 10K, 15K. You need that target ballpark sale, yeah, an average sale. And you'll have to pin yourself down, because if you don't pin yourself down, you'll struggle to target. Then I want you to think about how many inquiries do you need? How many conversations do you need to get one sale? Now, some of you may not know because all you've done is a bit hit and miss. Some of you may have done it a different way. So you may not know the answer. So, but you need to keep a record of this because you need to know effort to reward ratio. Why is all this important? You're probably going, Dean, why are you talking about this? Just get to the strategy. This is the strategy. This is part of the strategy. Because here's the thing. LinkedIn will require you, and to sell effectively on LinkedIn, it will require you to be consistent. And when you write down these numbers, it will show you how important it is to be consistent. The amount of people I've met who've said to me, oh, I use LinkedIn and it's hit and miss. Yeah, it's hit and miss about results. And when I say, okay, let's have a look at your LinkedIn, show me what you're doing, show me this, show me that, show me the other. I go, there is no way on earth you are consistently using LinkedIn. Yeah. And don't even look me in the eyes to tell me you're consistently using LinkedIn. I'm in a position now, yes, I'm probably a little bit ahead of you, some of you anyway, but I get inbound inquiries every single day. But I'm also prospecting every single day. I practice what I preach. So when people come to me and say, how can I get sales from LinkedIn? I know because I've done everything. Yeah. So how many inquiries do you need? Yeah, because there'll be a conversion rate. If you get one conversation, like mine's 20% from message out to sale. Yeah, so an outbound message to a sale is 20%. So I don't need to do thousands of messages. For one sale, I need to do 5 messages. One sale, 5 messages. How much time can you give? So let's say, for an example, I said to you that in the next 3 months, you could close, I don't know, 10 sales, 5 sales. How much time would you be prepared to give to that? It's really important you answer these questions because if you pay lip service to I'm going to put the time in and don't do it, you'll be stuck here in a year's time or a month's time or 3 months' time going, I really need to get this LinkedIn thing nailed. So what's your goal? Let's move on from all these stats. Hopefully you've wrote those stats down. It started you to think, yeah, I need to take this seriously. Now here's the goal that you need to rethink. And hopefully you don't go, what? Your goal on LinkedIn is not to sell your product at all. That's not your goal. It will never be your goal. Your goal is conversations with interested prospects. That is what you're selling. You're only selling conversations. Forget your product, forget your service. You've got to sell conversations. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because those two things are not the same. So if I want to sell a product, what everybody else is doing is saying, hey Dean, here's my product. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It can do this. It can do that. It can do the other. Do you want to have a call? That's what most people are doing. What I'm doing is actually using my content. I'm using my messages to encourage a conversation that I can take off LinkedIn into a call or a meeting with an interested person. So that's what I'm doing that's different. So everything that you're doing on LinkedIn, everything is not to convince people that they need your product and how amazing you are. It's to convince people that they need to talk to you. It's to convince people they need to talk to you. Now, what's the difference between those two positions? Well, if you're trying to convince somebody to buy your product, you need to give them a lot of information. But to convince people to have a conversation, you need to create curiosity. They're two different thought processes. So let me ask you this. With the last messages you sent on LinkedIn, how much curiosity did you create? With the last post you did on LinkedIn, how much curiosity did you create? Versus what many people are doing is blasting, i.e. broadcasting information, putting out loads of stuff about how amazing they are, or promoting their product. Where's the curiosity in that? The vast majority of people who will buy your product or service don't know they need it. So what are you doing to show them, not tell them, show them that they need you. So the goal is conversations. You're looking for prospects who need a solution, a prospect who needs you. And so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to answer the question, how quick, because everybody wants to know how quick, right? Can you get a result from LinkedIn? So I've got examples of this because I run a program to help people do this. And so in 6 weeks of focus, 6 weeks of focus, not just 6 weeks, you can have a healthy pipeline. And in 90 days is pretty much the sweet spot for all of the people we've trained to actually generate sales and have a routine built in that they're actually closing business. So 90 days is the window where you can build up a pipeline, build it all up, and actually convert some of it. Now, of course, some people can do that quicker, but we have some people in our programs where they're selling 100 grand, 200 grand services, and other people selling something for 2 grand and 5 grand. And so there is an average, and the 90 days is the sweet spot. So most people can average comfortably 5 sales in the first 90 days. Now, the first 90 days are the hardest with this strategy, which I'm going to show you, because, number one, because you've got to establish the routine. Show up consistently. Yeah? It takes somewhere between 7 and 15 touch points in terms of interactions in what have you way for a prospect to even remember who you are and get familiar with you. One thing I will give you, familiarity, yeah, the old saying goes, it breeds contempt, but familiarity actually breeds trust on social media. If people are more familiar with you, if they see you more, it will actually build trust. So that's really important that you build the trust by showing up and being seen. But you can only do this with the right strategy, and that's what we're going to look at now. Everybody's still awake. Stuart, no, you can do this with complete cold prospects. I'll walk you through the process. Rahul's asked, I want to sell my logistics custom solution services. Right, so okay, Rahul, you need to think about who is the target and what's the target sale price. Who are you trying to sell to and what's the average sale you want to go for? What does it look like? Is it 5 grand? Is it 10 grand? Is it 15 grand? Because without that, you can't map out who you're targeting. You can't map out how you offer. You can't map out your value proposition. And we'll come to this now. Yeah, some people are still awake. Okay, so as I'm stating the obvious here, 62%, according to Foundation Inc. stats, 62% are actually struggling to use LinkedIn. Despite them having it, despite them using it, 62%. Interestingly enough, we did some research for a government body on social media, and we did a big report, took us forever, and we found that the vast majority of employees did not understand how to leverage social media. And the vast majority of CEOs and business owners were doing it, were being relatively consistent. 26% of business owners were relatively consistent, but still were struggling how to do it. So Marcus has said, I know my prospects lie awake at night trying to solve a problem that I could handle for them. Marcus, hold that thought, because we're going to look at that in a minute. So, you know, we've seen it all. Majority are just using LinkedIn as a stalking tool, research, but they're not really doing conversation. The magic of LinkedIn is the conversations, and that's what we're going to look at. So here's how we do it with never pitching. So maybe you can see this on screen. I'm going to move back and we'll put it on full screen for you. So this is a method that we put together that helps you understand how to sell on LinkedIn. And I'm just going to point at the screen for a little bit, so hopefully you can see this. So the first block we've got here is the positioning. This is about you understanding the value you bring to your prospects. Everyone I see on LinkedIn is telling people how wonderful their product is, how amazing it is, and how many awards they've won. But in reality, what you need to be doing is showing people why they need you. Now, if you go and tell people that you need us, they won't believe you. So what you have to do is articulate their current reality as part of what you're doing. So what's their current reality? So think about it like this. Maybe write this down. When somebody buys from you, Lal's asked about emails and connections. I will come to that in a minute. When somebody buys from you, they receive a series of benefits. They don't buy your product and service just because it's a product or a service. They buy it to achieve something. So there's a result, there's an outcome from your product, the purchase, the decision to buy from you. There's a result, there's an outcome. So in order for you to position yourself for sales, you have to position yourself for the people who need your outcome, the people who need your result. Because if you do that, you can attract them through content. You can get their attention through content. So the first thing you need to know is if I can help people get these benefits, what's their current reality? What's as I think it was Lal said, what's keeping them up at night? What's getting them angry? What's frustrated? What have they tried? What have they failed at? Why is it not working? This is really important, because if people are living with this problem and they need your outcome, yeah, that's what you need to understand. Those two points are what you need to be thinking about. Your product or service is just a tool or a mechanism to get to that. So you want to sell some things. You want to sell products and services. Let me ask you this. Let's be honest. If you could sell your product or service without ever using social media, you would. I would. If I could do it without bothering with social media, brilliant. I want the easiest sales possible. We all do. So we're looking, together tonight, we're looking at how we can sell through LinkedIn. And so LinkedIn is your vehicle to get sales. Yeah, that's a vehicle you've chosen because you're here, hopefully. That's the reason you're here. So what's the reality now of why you're on this? And I'm doing this to explain it, because you're not getting sales. You're not getting the right sales. You're getting tire kickers. You're frustrated it's taking you a lot of time. Perhaps you've tried other things and it hasn't worked. These are all the things. Maybe you've spent money on LinkedIn and it kind of worked, but you've not been able to repeat it. There's loads of different reasons. You had a salesperson who did really well on LinkedIn, but now they don't work so well. You see what I'm doing? I'm explaining to you the challenges of maybe your current reality, and what you really want is over here. But what gets people's attention is actually talking about their current reality. So our positioning is, we have to position our profile, position our messaging, position our content, position everything that we're doing around what's our customers, our target accounts' current reality. So this is what the positioning is. Now we've got an exercise you can do on this. We can send it to you. It's our one client profile. It's a really tough exercise, but it helps you to think in the mind of the customer. Helps you get out of your own head and start thinking about things from the customer's world. If you want it, it's free. Again, no catch. I'll put the email on screen. Just email us and say, can I have the one client profile? And we'll send it to you. If you want the replay, email us too. So the first thing is the positioning. Then it's the roadmap. So the roadmap is, how am I going to get them to a sale? So we have various different methods of doing this. So we have outreach on message, we have content, and we have events. So there's three: outreach, content, events. Three easy LinkedIn routes. So we use all three. So we will use webinar like this today and help people. Lots of people will go out and help. Just as an aside, if you're on one of our social channels right now, please, do the honors, the thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. So we have a roadmap. How are we going to get people to a sale? So let me just talk about the three different ways, the three different ways. Route number one, the conversation. Highly personal, highly personalized. What everybody else is doing is churning messages. What you should be doing is thinking more like WhatsApp than email when you're outreaching to prospects. We'll talk about that in a minute. Roadmap number two, events. You put on an event, invite your connections, brilliant. They come if they have the need because of the positioning. So they come to the event because of the positioning, because you're talking about their current reality and how they can get to an outcome. They come, you give your value, they go away. Some of them love you, some of them want to talk to you, some of them you can follow up with. So that's number 2. And then content, which I'll show you an example of this a little bit later. The content example is where you use content to pre-sell. If you think about it like sales is not war, but if you think about it like a war, content can give you your sales air superiority. People know you, trust you, get to know your value. And then when you have the conversations, it actually makes it easier. You can also, if you do it right, and I'll show you the example, you can generate inbound leads just from your content. So you can get an inbound lead from posting on LinkedIn. So the roadmap. Then we've got attention. How are you going to get them to turn their heads and look at you? How are you going to do that? Then we have, how do you get them to turn and show you their cards and say, I need you? Yep. So position, roadmap, the path you're going to take. Then it's how you're going to get their attention. Content's a brilliant way to do that. Then you've got the intent, which is, in other words, getting them to show you that they need you. And we'll show you how that works. And then finally, it's just results, working the metrics, and we'll show you how this works. So first things first, who are you going to sell to? Do you even know, or are you just having a go at anybody? Who are you going to sell to? So I've picked some companies here. These are big companies, but it could be small businesses. Who are you going to target? You need to know. You need to decide. You need to make a choice. Because if you don't choose, you can't position. You can't position yourself well. Now, I'm not talking about niching. I'm talking about positioning yourself for a group of companies or a group of targets who have a common problem that they want to fix, a common problem. Now, there will be patterns across industries, sectors, verticals, and there will be patterns that transcend any kind of sector. So you need to understand, what are those problems? You don't need to niche down, but you do need to niche by the problems you can fix. So you need to be very clear on what are the key problems you can fix and what's the big benefits you can give people. So now I've put it here, who do you need to be friends with? Yeah, I've deliberately said, who do you need to be friends with? And I'll show you a stepped process you can use to actually do that. By that I mean, who are the people who work at these businesses that are going to be critical to your relationships, to who you want to do business with? So it might be that Jane Doe, the finance manager, is the person. But it could be, if it's a major account, and I'm just using HSBC as an example because it's a well-known name, it could be that there's a few different people involved. What are you doing to get to know all of them? Are you ready? I'm going to give you the steps. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to tell you it one step, all the steps here. So the first thing is, you don't want to be seen as a salesperson, because nobody will connect with somebody if they think they're going to pitch. So if people think they're going to pitch, 61% of people will accept or reject a connection request just based on their profile. How is their profile presented? Is it relevant? Does it make a difference? Does it show that there might be something interesting? Remember that word curiosity. How are you creating curiosity with your prospects? So that's really important that you map that out on there. Who are the people that you need to influence? Who are the people that need to know your name, trust you, like you, and interact with you? So again, content can do that, but also some simple tips. Go view the prospect's profile with your privacy public. Go view their profile. If they're posting, go like and comment on some of their stuff. No sales pitch. Check to see if they look back at your profile. Check to see if they like your comment. Check to see if they reply to your comment. Build the two-way interaction. Yeah, you do want to be connected. You absolutely do want to be connected. Now, let me address the LinkedIn connection limit now. So here we go. So LinkedIn has imposed 100 connection per week limit. Why have they done this, and has it destroyed the platform? Well, they've done this to stop the aggressive nature of some lead generation companies, salespeople and individuals to connect. And so they've taken the view that, why would anybody need to connect with more than 100 people a week? That's 5,200 people a year. Why would you need more than that? Most people don't. The only people who need more than that have an ineffective strategy. So if, let's say you were half as successful as me, yeah? And you know, I've got a few years at this, but you might be a better salesperson than me. I don't know. I'm just better at social selling. But if you're half as successful as me, you'll be getting 10% conversion, yeah? So that's 10 clients per week with the right strategy. 10 new clients per week. Now, yes, you'll have to work up to that. Yes, you'll have to get used to it. But within 6 to 12 months, it's easy. It gets easy. The real reason people fail on LinkedIn is because they don't give it enough time to get themselves into the hang of it. Not to get LinkedIn to work, to get themselves into the hang of it. Within 2 weeks of using the positioning, you will know exactly how to trigger your prospects to inbound you. Within 2 weeks. So the first thing we have to do is account map them, get to know them, like, comment, interact. If people are not posting, go view their profile, go look at their profile. If they're liking and commenting on other stuff, reply to their comments and other stuff. Not sales pitches on their comments, by the way. No promo or spamming on their comments. Just interact with them and then send them a connection request, right? If you're on low connections at the moment, you'll have to do a bit of work to sort your profile out, tidy yourself up, all that kind of stuff. But once you've got that going, you can just interact with people. 100 a week is more than enough for any salesperson. 100 a week. Because even if you're a 10% successful, you will have enough pipeline that you'll know you don't need to worry about. Now, I'll go into how this works in a bit more detail in a minute. So the first thing you have to do is account map. Account map. Then you need to be known by your prospects. When we go into sales, first thing is we've got to establish rapport. If you're on the cold call, you've got to establish some rapport to keep that call going. With LinkedIn, we actually do some of this before you ever have a call. So it feels a bit more friendly, it's less hostile, it's less cold, it's warm. So our content and our activity is there to warm people to us and pre-sell. So what we do with our content is we post. Number one, don't listen to anybody who tells you other than to post at least once per day. Don't go nuts on it to begin with, once per day. And there's a sandwich that you can do. And if you want the video, I did the content section of this training last week. If you want a copy of that, we'll send you that as a link too. So there's a link to the content training. We'll send you a link. Email us though. Some of you are putting your email in the chat. We will go through it, but it's better to email us directly so we can just send it back to you. It just means tomorrow when the guys come in the office, they can just email you the links. So that's first. Justin's asked about automation. Justin, automation has lots of useful purposes, but if LinkedIn finds you use an automation, you will have a restriction on your account. Automation will never, ever be able to create a conversation for you. Ever. Not in a way that's B2B, people buy from people. So if the reason why half the things don't work is because automation. Conversation cannot be created by automation. Ever. You want to create a conversation. Jean-Michael said, engaging, interacting with people on congratulations. Yes, congratulations, birthdays, endorsements, they can all help. But they're ways to create awareness of you, but they're not the two-way. And commenting and interacting with their profile and interacting with the content they're engaging with is a way to do it. So then what we do is we use our content to fight the air war, the pre-selling, showing the value proposition, we call it value proposition posts. It's where you show the real reality of why they need you without selling. As soon as you put a call to action on some of those types of posts, it switches people off. You don't put the value call to action on those posts. You just put a real explanation of how you make a difference, how you solve those problems, and what the current reality is. Value proposition posts. I'll show you exactly. So you do this on a regular basis, daily minimum, to get top of mind recognition with your contacts. So you're never forgotten. 2 weeks in a week is a long time on LinkedIn. Some of you watching this will have 10, 15,000 connections. You won't know who you're connected to and who you're not. And your prospects won't know who you are. Or a large majority of them won't even know your name. You know, I look through my connections and there's people and faces that are familiar and I can't remember them. And then when I go into the message, I know who they are. So you're seeding the value proposition. Now, as an example, and I've got a video on my LinkedIn about this, if you do this right, interacting and visiting their profiles, more of those people will see your posts. And so what happens is you can actually end up in a situation where your target prospects are seeing you every day. Does it get annoying? No, it doesn't. Does it because they just see it? Does it help you seed the value proposition? Yes. I had an inquiry from somebody today. They'd been seeing my post. They shared one of my posts a few weeks back and they asked, I want to work with you. You seem to know what you're doing. A lot of the objections were over. You don't need 47,000 connections and followers to do that. You just need to be incubating the right people. How long does this take? Couple of weeks? Couple of weeks? This whole sales process, if you started today, you could be seeding the value proposition and have people ready in 2 weeks. Yeah, think of it like you're putting something in the oven. The content's putting something in the oven, it starts to rise, and then you interact with those people. Very, very simple. Amanda Davison says something here. Faking engagement. Okay, Amanda, I'll explain how pods work because Amanda's raised it. This is where a lot of people get pods wrong. So people see pods as faking engagement, and they are a divisive topic. They are very divisive. Marcus has asked about defining value proposition, so I'll do that in a second. So Amanda said pods are faking engagement. Amanda, most people don't use pods to fake engagement. It's because they're using it to actually effectively trick the algorithm. So the algorithm allows their first connections to see their posts. So most people think, oh, it's vanity. That's not why people do it. And you would be surprised, without mentioning names, how many people do them. We have a little WhatsApp group for people who are starting out on LinkedIn. They need to get their content going because, to be honest with you, some people end up in what we call an algorithm rut. It's where the algorithm just passes them over and it doesn't matter how good their posts are, they just get missed. So if you want to know about it, use it. Don't use it. It's up to you. It's free. But Amanda, most people talk about it as fake engagement. And it's actually common on all the social channels that people do this. Even some of the people with 2.3 million followers do it on LinkedIn. So it's a very widespread thing. And it's all down to algorithms. It happens on Instagram. It happens on Facebook. I don't give a toss about it, really. I know it works in terms of getting your content seen. So if it works, use it. If you don't like it, don't do it. So the key thing is to get your content seen by the right people. That's all that matters. That's all you're trying to do. Sarah, if you're posting on a regular basis, what will happen is those companies will show. Most people don't get the company stats on their posts or the view stats because they never get the posts over a certain threshold where they can see it. I think it's about 200 views. And so you'll start to see the companies that appear. And then you can start to see the companies appear. So then what you do is you find the intent. So this is where you can use PDFs. This is where you can use videos. This is where you can use smart links. If you're not familiar with smart links, Smart Links is a tool within Sales Navigator that allows you to post content, but you can actually track the individuals who look. You can track the individuals that look. So it's really important with that you use it well and have to position it right. So somebody asked again, what's the value proposition? The value proposition is about communicating that you understand the customer's pains and current reality. Because for somebody to need to buy your product, they have to be sick of what's going on right now. So if they're at point A, current reality, and they want to get point B, they want to get to a goal or outcome. So people buy your product for a goal or outcome. What's the goal or outcome they want? and what's their current reality. That's what we're trying to do. So intent, it's about using pieces of content to find out where people are at, and they can have a call to action. They can have a call to action. And with smart links, you can actually see that this person has actually seen it and spent time on it. So you can use these strategically, both in messages, but also in content on the feed. So now you need to create conversations with the people who need you. So think about it. You've done a poll, you've done a PDF, you've done a smart link, you've done some interactions, you're sharing content about your value proposition, you're sharing light stuff as well about the news and all stuff. Now it's about the conversation. This is where it really matters. So it's about two-way conversations, interactions back and forth. So it's really important that what you do is you think about this like WhatsApp, not like email. And think about it in the way of what we're trying to do is train our prospects to reply to us. People don't ignore people they get on with. People don't ignore people who've added value. People don't ignore people who reciprocate. So what do I mean by that? There's some principles that a guy studied many years ago about the principles of persuasion. And the principles of persuasion are basically that these are what one or more of these are needed in any sales conversation to actually close a sale. And one of the big ones is reciprocity. So if you've been adding value, not just in posts, but you've been sharing and interacting with that prospect, maybe you've sent them a message about something that's going on, maybe you've congratulated, you've built up some reciprocity, and then you can have a conversation with them. What most people do is they send the equivalents of an email. And so here's where video messages, voice messages, and short chit-chat conversations, when I mean that, I mean you ask a question, they ask a question, interacting like that, even about general things, really helps. So we train our prospects to reply to us. We train them to reply to us. Okay, so we're going to look at a lead generation post. So people are going nuts about pods. Oh my God, they're not that big of a deal, really. They just help you, other business people trying to get their content out there, agree to help you with yours if you help them with theirs. That's simply what it is. So when people go through our LinkedIn training, we have a little WhatsApp group there people can use, and they just share their posts and reciprocate at particular times to make it easy for everybody. And it does help the algorithm get your content to your first connections. Somebody mentioned earlier, and it's a good point, does it look like fake engagement? A bit. But most people don't see it. The people who trained to see it, but LinkedIn only shows you the first couple of comments now. But it gets your post seen by your own connections, which if you've been on Facebook for any length of time, you've been anywhere else where it gets saturated, it can just give you that leg up to get you going. It will never replace building your own audience, ever. But it will give you the leg up to help you build your own audience. So if you want to know more about a little WhatsApp group, it's free, just use it. As long as you don't upset other people and you reciprocate for them, you knock yourself out. But it'll give you a little bit of a kickstart. Next thing there. So lead generation posts. So if you want to write a lead generation post, the first thing you have to do is come back to your value proposition. And I'm going to show you what you need to do. So this is one of my lead generation posts, and we'll go through the exercise of doing it now. So if you've got a notepad, Amanda, you'd be surprised who do it. You'd be surprised who do it. Anyway, pain point post. So a pain point post is all about selling the pain of the current reality to your customers. Selling the pain of to your current reality to your current customers. So the first thing you need to understand is that you need to understand the real world pains of your customers. What's the current reality that they're going through so that you can engage them. So you need to write a post. So I've done a lot of content, so I know when I'm trying to reach salespeople, Leonardo DiCaprio is a good one. So Leonardo DiCaprio as an image is a good one. So I first start with the pain of, in this case, social selling doesn't work in an industry. What a load of crap. So I've done it to create 3 things. So we got the structure, and if you look at any of my posts, they're written out very short and easy to read because it makes it easy for people to read. Simple, scan, read on a post. So the structure is really important. It's all around the pains of my customer. The next thing is the stopping power. So the stopping power is really important because the stopping power allows you to reach more people. So for an example, it's about the visual, image here. It's about the visual, and it's about the first couple of lines to get people to stop scrolling in the feed. Get people, as people discover your post in their home feed, what's going to stop them from scrolling? So that's the first thing, stop scrolling. Then the most important thing, if you want LinkedIn to show your post to more people, it's about staying power. Staying power. So keeping people on your post for longer. So what helps with this? PDFs. PDFs massively. Asking more questions in the post. Asking more questions in the post. This is the type of post that will get you inbound inquiries. So ask more questions, get more comments. Staying power. It's all about getting people to stay on your post for longer than 3 seconds. Longer copy, PDFs, even videos to some degree will do this, but videos also is based on how long people watch the video for. And then finally, likes and comments. Have a look at your own post. The algorithm has 3 priorities: likes, comments, and dwell time, staying power. Those 3 things matter. So you need to optimize your post for that. So first one, stopping power. Does it keep people guessing? Does it make people curious so that they want to read more? So they stay for longer. And then, does it prompt them to respond with a comment or a question or sharing their opinion? So they're the key things to do. But it all revolves around the pain. You don't need to sell in these posts. You don't need to sell at all. It's really about getting people to understand that you understand their problem and you've helped other people with that scenario. You don't need to tell them how, you just need to explain that you've helped people get to another outcome. So there's no pitch. It's a very light call to action. And I'm going to talk to you about hashtags for a second. Hashtags. So hashtags. There's a lively debate going on in the chat here. I wouldn't, Ali's asked, could you use famous people to promote yourself? Tagging people in posts, it works if the post's relevant to them, but if you tag lots of people, some people get annoyed with it and some people just ignore it. That was the thing ages ago to get more reach on your posts. You tag lots of people in the comments and it would get more people to see it. It can be a little bit annoying as well. So hashtags, when you look at your posts, think about the hashtags you're using. Are you using hashtags? And if you don't understand how hashtags work, hashtags are used to promote your content to people who have an interest in a topic. So if you use hashtag marketing, for an example, it will show your post in the feed of the hashtag that, or in the feed of the people who are following the hashtag marketing. Not all of them, but some of them. Again, LinkedIn samples it based on how it views the post's performance. So again, reminder, LinkedIn judges a post performance on likes, comments, dwell time, staying power. Yeah, that's how it judges success, those. If you pass LinkedIn's test on those 3 metrics, it will show your post, the algorithm will show your post to more of your connections, more people. So more people see your post because of those 3 things. So optimize your post for those 3 things. So hashtags, look at your posts. When you're using the hashtags, generally LinkedIn only indexes 3 and it's the first 3. So if you go and copy the URL of your post, you'll see it only indexes the first 3. Doesn't mean the others don't work, but they're the top 3. So if you, let's say you only pick 3 hashtags, which ones would they be? So I don't use hashtag LinkedIn training at all, because why would I want to promote my posts to my competitors? So I use hashtags where my customers are. So I'll only use hashtags where my customers are. That's the real key here. Use the hashtags of your customers, not the hashtags of your competitors. So if you're in the copywriting world, you wouldn't use hashtag copywriting. But if I was selling cybersecurity to technologists, I could use hashtag technology, but I probably wouldn't use hashtag cybersecurity. So you use the hashtags of your customers, not the hashtags of your industry or your topic. So hashtags. In this pain point post that we're writing, all about the pains, you can include 2 lines where you explain to people how you've helped people and you've been doing this for some time. So that's really important. And it's also important to remember the feelings and frustrations that they may have had. So this is really important that you use these posts. And this worksheet, if you email us, we'll send you this as a guide of how to do it. So you can go do it yourself. So really simple. And you can have a look at some of mine and kind of cannibalize them and see how they work. It might take you 2 or 3 times to get this to work. But once you do it, you'll actually find that you're actually generating inbound leads too. Yeah. So it's really important. So we're pretty good at what we do. I've given you an overview of some of the actions. You need to position yourself and get our worksheet that will help you understand your client's pains better. We've got the PDF guide on how to generate leads. You can get that too. If you want the replay, you can email us. But also, if you want help, no sales pitch, you don't have to buy anything. We've got a team of 30 here. So if there's people and you go, actually, I just want some more help, we can do a 15-minute tutorial or something and explain it in more detail one-to-one. Just email us if you like it. I'm going to stress the team out now because there's about 600 people watching this. So if you want it, just email us. There's no sales pitch, no catch. We're not trying to trick you into anything. We're actually here to help. So if you want the free call, you're more than happy to do that. So any questions? Craig's asked, what did light call to action? So light call to action is where you don't say, if you want this, give me a call, or you put your contact details at the bottom. You're actually just saying, this is what I've done. I fixed this problem. I help people fix this problem. Really low key. You don't need to tell people to do anything on these posts. So that's really important. If you want to use the email address for the videos or anything of the resources tonight, it's on screen. It's hi@maverick.co.uk. So I'll leave that on screen. Any more questions? Anybody got any questions? How do you find the right hashtags? So there's 2 ways to do it. The easiest way is to just look at who's the roles. What are the roles of the people that you're looking to sell to? Are they marketing managers? Are they operations managers? And then think around the hashtags that those people would probably be following. So finance people generally follow hashtag finance, for an example. Marketing people generally follow the marketing hashtags, hashtag marketing, hashtag digital marketing, those kind of things. Matthew said, there's a lively debate going on here, so I'm trying to keep up with it in the chat. hi@maverick.co.uk. Call to action, a very light explanation of who you are. Very light, in other words, you're not expecting people to go do lots of things. Light call to action. Yeah, we'll post the email in the chat. So it's hi@maverick.co.uk. hi@maverick.co.uk. So we'll put that out there as well. Somebody's on a phone, so they can't see it as easily, but do email it to us because this chat is everywhere. Any more questions? Any more questions? If you want the call, it's free. There's no catch. You can have that. Candice and Matthew Seal seem to have got on quite well. Any other questions? So if you want any help from us, come find me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect with you. Follow me, whichever you want to do. Key thing is you've got to get your positioning right. Yeah. It works hands down every single time. If you get your positioning right, you will massively be able to leverage LinkedIn for sales. If you don't get your positioning right, you will have to play the numbers, which LinkedIn stops you from doing. You have to do it in a way that's relationship driven and want two-way conversations. Any more questions? Any more questions? I think the key thing I'm going to say, whilst everybody's, you know, there's a bit of a delay here. So Craig's asked a question. How much text would be in your post? So Craig, remember that a key metric is to keep people on your post for longer. So the structure of short sentences broken down, and have a look at my posts, is to keep people longer. So I will use as much text as I can. And that might seem hard, but once you get into it, it's actually quite easy. It's actually quite straightforward. Rockwell, the WhatsApp group, it's just a helping hand if you're getting going and you need some help on your posts so that you don't waste your time putting posts out there for 100 views. Other businesses will come and like and support your post if you like and support theirs. It's not the be all and end all, but it will give you a kickstart that you can then move on, build your own audience with your own prospects and build your own crowd. That's the goal of it. It's not to do, you know, anything other than help you get seen by your own prospects. Just drop us an email, Rockwell. Rockwell, drop us an email. We'll give you all these details. It may take us till late tomorrow to get through all these emails because a lot of people emailing us and reaching out to us. Any more questions there? Any more questions? No? All good? Open Peg, how do you track your ROI? How do I track your ROI? I track my ROI by literally going, how much time do I spend sales? Basically, sales. So I look at my day and go, actually, I flick on LinkedIn a lot. I probably spend 2-3 hours a day on LinkedIn, and I track it against my sales. And that's how I justify the ROI. And actually, it gets better over time because you get better at it, and because obviously you build a bigger audience and a bigger network, and so it works. Awesome. Somebody's just asked a really important point. Do you recommend pre-scheduling? I absolutely advise against scheduling your profile posts on LinkedIn. Absolutely advise against it. It's better to post it yourself, copy it and paste it if you have to from a note file or something, but it's better to post it yourself. So that's really important, post it yourself. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, thank you for watching. If you want any of the resources I mentioned tonight, feel free to drop us a line. If you want the replay, the video about content, or any of the worksheets we've said, feel free to come get them. And thank you so much for watching. And we'll be back next week for another webinar, slightly different topic, but we'll be back next week. And please do like, comment, subscribe, follow, wherever you're watching. That'd be brilliant, really help us get what we're doing out there to the world. Thanks for watching, everybody.